In life, we often feel the need to control everything. We make plans, set goals, and try to predict the future. When things go as we expect, we feel happy and successful. But when life takes a different path, we become frustrated, anxious, or even angry. This desire to control is natural, but it can also cause us great suffering. In Buddhism, we learn that life is always changing. Nothing stays the same forever. This is called impermanence. When we accept this truth, we begin to understand that not everything is within our control. Sometimes, life unfolds in ways we cannot predict or understand. This is where the idea of the divine plan comes in. Now, in Buddhism, we don't talk about a divine being controlling everything. But we do believe in a natural order of things, a flow of life that is bigger than our personal desires. You can think of it like a river. We are all in this river, and while we can swim and choose our direction to some extent, we cannot control the flow of the water itself. The river moves at its own pace, and it carries us forward, whether we resist or not. When we talk about surrendering to the divine plan, we are talking about letting go of the idea that we must control everything. It means trusting that life has its own wisdom. Even when things don't go the way we want, there is often a lesson or a hidden purpose behind it. Sometimes, what feels like a setback is actually guiding us to a better place. For example, imagine you lose a job you really loved. At first, it feels like a failure, like something is wrong. But later, you might find a new opportunity, something even better than before. Or you meet new people, learn new skills, and grow in ways you never expected. This is the flow of life guiding you, even if you don't see it at first. When we understand this, life becomes less stressful. We don't have to fight against every challenge. Instead, we can learn to flow with life, like a leaf floating down the river, trusting that the journey will take us where we need to go. Letting go is not easy. Even when we understand that life has its own flow, our hearts and minds still resist. We hold on to our plans, our expectations, and our desires because they give us a sense of security. We believe that if we control everything, we can avoid pain and find happiness. But in reality, this attachment often leads to more suffering. In Buddhism, we talk about attachment as one of the main causes of suffering. When we cling to people, situations, or outcomes, we create a gap between what we want and what actually happens. The bigger that gap, the more frustrated we feel. We start asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Or, what did I do wrong? This constant struggle against reality creates stress and anxiety. Think about holding a rope tightly. The more you pull, the more tension you feel in your hands and arms. But if you let go of the rope, the tension disappears. Life works in the same way. The more we resist what is happening, the more pain we feel. But when we loosen our grip, we find relief. However, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean we stop caring about our lives or our dreams. Instead, it means we do our best and then trust the outcome, even if it's different from what we expected. It's about finding a balance between effort and acceptance. For example, imagine planting a seed. You prepare the soil, water it, and give it sunlight. But you cannot force the seed to grow overnight. You have to trust the natural process. Sometimes, the seed may not grow at all, or it may take longer than you hoped. But your role is to nurture it without trying to control the entire process. This is true for many areas of life, relationships, careers, health. We can do our part, but we cannot control everything. Trusting the process means understanding that life unfolds in its own time and in its own way. It means believing that, even in difficult moments, there is growth happening beneath the surface. Letting go is a practice. It takes time and patience. But as we learn to trust the process, we begin to feel lighter. The struggle lessens, and we start to experience more peace in our hearts. When we finally surrender to the flow of life, something beautiful happens. We find peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from everything going perfectly, but a deeper, lasting peace that stays with us even when life is difficult. This peace comes from trusting that we're exactly where we need to be, even if we don't fully understand why. In Buddhism, we often speak about non-attachment and acceptance. These are not just ideas, they are practices we can use every day. Surrendering to the divine plan or the natural flow of life is about accepting things as they are, without trying to force them to be different. It doesn't mean we stop caring or trying. It means we stop fighting against reality. Think about the ocean. The waves rise and fall, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. If we try to fight the waves, we become exhausted and overwhelmed. But if we learn to float with the waves, we can move with them peacefully, without fear. Life is like that ocean. When we surrender, we move with life instead of against it. One powerful way to practice surrender is through meditation. When we sit quietly and focus on our breath, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. We see how thoughts come and go, like clouds passing in the sky. We realize that we don't have to hold on to every worry or fear. We can let them pass, just as we let the clouds drift by. Another way is to practice gratitude. When we focus on what we have, instead of what we lack, we start to see the beauty in our lives, even during hard times. Gratitude shifts our perspective from frustration to acceptance. It helps us recognize that even in challenges, there are lessons and opportunities for growth. When we surrender to the divine plan, we begin to trust that life supports us. We start to see that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is part of our journey. Even when we face loss or disappointment, we know that these moments are shaping us into wiser, more compassionate people. In the end, surrendering is not about giving up control completely. It's about trusting that life's flow will carry us where we need to go. It's about finding peace in the present moment, knowing that we are part of something larger than ourselves. So take a deep breath. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Trust in the process and allow life to unfold naturally. In this surrender, you will find a peace that no external situation can shake. As we reflect on the idea of surrendering to the divine plan, I hope you can see that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a path to inner strength and peace. Life will always bring challenges and surprises, but when we trust in the natural flow, we open ourselves to growth, wisdom, and a deeper sense of purpose. Every day, we have the chance to practice this surrender. Whether it's through meditation, mindful breathing, or simply accepting what is beyond our control, these small steps help us connect with the present moment. They remind us that peace is not something we chase. It is something we allow to arise when we stop resisting life. Remember, surrendering doesn't mean we stop caring about our goals or dreams. It means we approach them with an open heart, doing our best while trusting that life will unfold as it should. Even when things don't go as planned, there is often a hidden lesson or a new opportunity waiting for us. In this trust, we find freedom from anxiety and a calmness that carries us through both joyful and difficult times. If these words have brought you a sense of peace or clarity, I'm truly grateful. Your support through likes, comments, and subscribing to the channel means a great deal. It helps this message reach others who might also be seeking comfort and understanding in their lives. For those who have shown extra kindness through super thanks, please know how deeply appreciated your generosity is. It allows me to continue sharing these teachings with a wider community. I invite you to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Hearing how these ideas resonate with you brings connection and inspiration, not just for me, but for everyone in this growing community. Your journey, your insights, and your presence are valuable. Thank you for spending this time with me today. May you find peace in each step of your journey, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be.